Hi, welcome back. I think this is part 5. I've lost track of how many parts it is. So, if these truths, although they may work in reality, are wrong, and if there's different explanations that also work in reality, they'll be ignored or even ridiculed by these so-called experts and the general public. You are absolutely correct. This describes a central challenge in how worldviews, including scientific ones, evolve or sometimes stagnate. This phenomenon is beautifully described by the philosopher of science Thomas Kuhn in his seminal work, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. He introduced the concept of paradigms and paradigm shifts. Here's how his ideas and your observations play out. The dominant paradigm and normal science. A shared framework paradigm, a scientific, philosophical, or even cultural worldview, once established, becomes a paradigm. This isn't just a theory, it's a whole way of looking at the world, including fundamental assumptions, accepted methods of inquiry, shared values, exemplar problems and their solutions, what counts as a truth or evidence. Normal science or normal worldview operation within a dominant paradigm. Most practitioners, the experts, engage in what Kuhn called, or whatever, I'm murdering that language, sorry, called normal science. This involves puzzle solving, applying the existing framework to new problems, refining existing theories, and gathering more data to fit the paradigm. Confirmation bias, actively and often unconsciously seeking evidence that supports the paradigm and interpreting ambiguous results in a way that confirms it. Ignoring or marginalizing anomalies. When observations or data don't fit the paradigm, anomalies, like with Einstein, with the Michelson-Morley experiment and everything, there is others. They are often initially ignored, dismissed, or errors in measurement, dismissed as errors in measurement, or explained away as special cases that don't invalidate the core truth. Truths that work in reality within the paradigm. The existing truths do work to some extent. They allow for predictions, technological advancements, or a coherent way of life. For example, the Ptolemaic geocentric model of the universe worked for centuries for navigation and predicting planetary positions, even though it was fundamentally wrong about the Earth's place. They say that, it's going to say that, because that's what this is all about. Certain economic models work in predicting market behavior within certain parameters. It's not about that, and then it's not about consumerist worldview works in providing short-term gratification and motivating economic activity, even if it might lead to existential emptiness or ecological crisis. Problem with alternative explanations. This is where your point about ignoring or ridiculing alternatives comes in. Incommensurability. Kuhn argued that different paradigms can be incommensurable, meaning they operate on such fundamentally different assumptions that it's difficult to compare them directly or even understand them fully from within the old paradigm. The language, concepts, and even what counts as a fact can differ. Threat to the status quo. New explanations that challenge the core tenets of a dominant paradigm are often perceived as a threat to intellectual authority. The experts who built their careers and reputations on the old paradigm. Social cohesion. For worldviews that provide social order and meaning, challenging them can feel destabilizing. Comfort and familiarity. People generally prefer stability and established ways of thinking. Ridicule and dismissal. Unscientific or unsound alternative ideas might be dismissed as unscientific, unproven, or outside the bounds of legitimate inquiry, even if they have their own internal coherence or explanatory power. Fringe or crackpot. Proponents of new ideas might be labelled as outsiders, misinformed, or even charlatans, especially if their ideas challenge deeply ingrained beliefs. We've seen that a lot over the last 14 years. lack of funding publication. In academic or research fields, ideas that contradict the dominant paradigm often struggle to get funding, be published in prestigious journals, or gain traction. Public opinion. The general public, having been educated and immersed in the dominant worldview, will often side with the experts they trust and dismiss anything that contradicts their understanding. The role of crisis and revolution. According to Kuhn, this state of affairs persists until anomalies accumulate to a crisis point when the existing paradigm can no longer adequately explain a growing number of observations or problems, or when a new, more powerful alternative emerges. A paradigm shift or scientific revolution can occur. This is often a non-linear, messy process driven by social and psychological factors as much as by pure logic or data. Conclusion. So yes, it's not only possible, but historically common for experts and the general public within a particular worldview, religious, scientific, or secular, to believe truths that work well enough in practice but are fundamentally flawed. Ignore or ridicule alternative explanations, even if they also work or offer more profound insights. Actively confirm their biases due to generational teachings and the inherent human tendency to maintain cognitive consistency. This highlights the critical importance of intellectual humility, open-mindedness, and a continuous commitment to critical inquiry, even of our most cherished beliefs and scientific consensus. All right, thank you for watching. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you.